Reputation seems to matter more than achievement in many people's minds.
I don't think that he had the greatest season for Barcelona.
I would never put Neymar in my top 10 for 2014.
The idea was for him to probably stay and move after the World Cup, but then it obviously became accelerated.
I think it was a slightly strange move to make that big move to Europe 1 year before the World Cup, which was the biggest tournament of his career.
He had his adaptation period at Barcelona to contend with.
They spent a lot of money on him. They only got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and they didn't win La Liga either.
I personally, and I could be absolutely delusional, have this thing that he hasn't quite delivered on his potential yet, or the hype yet, and that there's a bit more style than substance perhaps. Am I wrong?
His first season at Barcelona, I'm going to say it was a little bit underwhelming.
Neymar had an almost intolerable level of pressure this year.
He was adapting, he was playing alongside Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi's the top dog.
I mean, the World Cup alone was ludicrous in terms of how much expectation there was on this kid.
He's the youngest of our top 10.
Of course, he was hugely unfortunate in the World Cup, the injury that he suffered in the quarter-final. Before then, he had been certainly Brazil's best player.
He's lucky in that he's not tainted by association with that shellacking Brazil got from Germany at the World Cup, because he was lucky enough to break his back.
Just made it even more bizarre in some ways.
I had him maybe around 17th, 18th. I thought there were more deserving players like James Rodriguez, who's outside of the top 10.
I'm not disputing he's a great player, but to be above the likes of Aguero,
Di Maria, and I had Cruz in my top 10 as well.
the likes of Ibrahimovic, doesn't work for me.
We can look forward to a decade of Neymar being one of the stellar talents in the game. In many ways, the pressure should become a bit more manageable, because how could it be much more intense than being the golden boy of a Brazilian team in a home World Cup?
He shouldn't even be in the top 40.
There's something really irritating about his facial reactions.
Smashed some incredible records.
And then another record, and then another record.
Perhaps the greatest striker in the world at the moment.
I don't think there's any other player who's worked so hard at being the absolute best he could be.
I would not have any of the three of them within an ass's roar of the top 50.